Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's show. It's gonna be a crazy one. There's so much going on tonight. We've got multiple shows going, but we are here to serve you. We've got Trump and Mike Johnson who are coming out swinging big time for election integrity. And they've made some huge headway with Pennsylvania in cleaning out their voter rolls, where they are almost 400,000 of people removed that shouldn't even be on the voter rolls. This is huge, just going to change the election results and what a lot of people are saying, especially for that swing state. On top of it, Trump is gaining big time in the polls for his leadership with the whole situation with Hurricane Helene. This is something where he was the first person on the ground, first person to provide support, bringing in trucks, food, aid, water, all these things. Yet Biden and Harris still have not even touched ground on or near where the people that were devastated with this crazy hurricane. On top of that, we have more details on the border and what Texas is doing to essentially sue and fight the Department of Justice and the Biden and Harris administration for all the billions of dollars that they've had to spend to essentially try to keep the United States protected when it should have been the federal government. So lots of breaking news tonight. Just want to say thank you to everybody who's watching. If you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button so I can serve you every day with the top news. And don't forget, join the True Life News family. The links are in the description to join. And we're doing some amazing things with this channel. And just want to say thank you to everybody that supports us in the channel with the Super Chat donations. Mr. Tracy J. Norby with the Super Chat. Everybody show Mr. Tracy some love in the chat. He's already on par with the news today. He said, I think someone should drive Harris to the places they have opened up the border and show proof of what they cause in our country. Show her the thousands of illegals and border people using forklifts to lift the fences up so illegals can enter. 100%. We're right on par. We got some breaking news for that in just a moment. But let's dive right in because this is huge what's going on with the Hurricane Helene and with Pennsylvania. Check this out.
Well, there's no question. This campaign, everything about what we're seeing now, and this is like an October surprise, is about a lack of leadership. It's about a lack of initiative. It's about recognizing what's going to happen. Everybody knew when this contract was up. Everybody knew in June that that was the last discussion anybody had, whether it's the Secretary of Commerce or the Secretary of Labor. The truth is, Gina Raimondo is the one who said after two assassination attempts on Trump, she said Trump needs to be eliminated. She's the one who said, oh, no, we didn't lose 800,000 jobs. Yes, you did. I mean, she's not keyed into the job. You've got to prepare. You've got to know what's going to happen. This is going to cost the American people a lot of money.
Yes.
These are the holidays. And this is how
they don't care.
You
they
bring
do
them
not
both
care.
together. You've got people in a flood. I lost my house in a flood when I was a kid. My family, our house went away.
You know what that's
they
like.
They need canned goods. 85% of the canned goods come through the longshoremen, okay? Now we're not going to get those. 85% of canned goods. These people cannot predict a problem and deal with it.
NBC reported yesterday, for everyone criticizing anyone criticizing the administration's response, I guess NBC's in on the conspiracy because they reported that over in North Carolina, Buncombe County Manager Avril Pender said, we requested water even before the storm started, because we felt that some people were going to be cut off because of how much rain was coming. But despite the advance request, Pender said Buncombe County received its first shipment of water at 2:30 a.m. yesterday.
Wow.
No surprise.
Judge.
This is an administration that only reacts, and you've got to hope that they react in time. You get water, the storm makes landfall on Thursday night. They get water today. I mean, that's crazy. Oh, we've got helicopters, supposedly. We've got all ways of transporting.
They had to have private helicopters got involved because they couldn't get enough government.
100. Look at the bottom title. Americans feel abandoned by Biden and Harris. Not only have they not stepped foot on the ground for where Hurricane Helene hit, not only are they allowing this crazy massacre to happen over there in Israel and Iran, but they're nowhere in sight. And then all the fakeness of them trying to do these photo ops, you're not going to believe what I've got to show you in just a moment.
Personnel. They have 3,000 people there now.
Yeah.
But the point is, you can't predict everything about a hurricane.
Oh,
but given how devastating the path looked, you can't just dump stuff at the Big Bend area of Florida and some in Georgia. You got to have some provisions on the ground ready for the people, or ready to deploy to the people right away.
100%
She didn't go to the
proactive.
hurricane briefings annually. Kamala Harris, we learned that tonight. That didn't happen. Again, why do that when you can spend time just traveling around the country
or doing a
whatever they're doing?
podcast about legalizing weed when you put 2,000 people in jail for smoking weed. I mean, the truth is that Kamala Harris is not focused. These people are not serious. And the sad part about all this is that Americans are suffering. And by the way, if Joe Biden wanted to solve the longshoremen, he could bring in the Taft-Hartley Act.
He said he's
have
not
them
doing
work. Yeah, of course he's not doing it. He wants the labor
now,
support.
Imagine if this went down in the last year of the Trump administration. What do you think the media? Do you think they would say Donald Trump engaged in monitoring the talks?
Yeah.
Do you think they would slaughter him metaphorically, for doing not doing more?
Well, but the good news is, in the 4 years, if Donald Trump and when Donald Trump becomes president, everything is going to be taken care of. It's like the baby formula.
100%.
They were shutting down baby formula factories and then
I
saying,
forgot about that. It's
gee,
like a bad dream,
I
the
didn't
baby
know. Is there
formula.
a shortage of baby formula? Only
I forgot about
in the
that.
stores.
There's been so many things that have happened. I forgot
Everything's a
about the
mess.
baby.
And by the way, not at the border. There was no shortage at the border of the formula.
I want to play this. Biden says he's in constant contact with the key players over in the Middle East. Obviously another crisis brewing there. Let's watch this.
Do you think the government is doing enough?
Honestly, I don't know how you did not have a formal press conference or something from either President Biden or Kamala Harris. I mean, how do you not say anything for 4 days? They've been stranded for 4 days, and this is the first we've heard from them at all. FEMA is not on the ground there.
I guess she's in on the conspiracy, too. Obviously, that's not the Middle East clip, but I'm glad we played that because, again, the people are suffering. She's not a right-wing pundit. That's a woman in need.
That's a normal
person. And people
person.
in need in the Middle East now, too, and people are very afraid of what's going to happen next there.
Yeah, they're afraid. And what is the first thing that Joe Biden says last night after they take down Nasrallah and all the pagers and walkie-talkies? Ceasefire now. It's the same thing he said on October 8th. But, we're going to assist Israel in its defense. Maybe you ought to just stay back, let Israel fight the fight, because they can do it and they can win.
Let me tell you this. It's insane what's going on. And this whole photo op crap with Kamala Harris, she only does things for a photo op. It's so bad. What you're about to see is they sent out this huge picture. They put it on they're putting it on all the news outlets. And when you see this, it's going to make you disgusted because it's so fake. And they point out that it doesn't even make sense. Check it out.
None of this is going to go over well. So they've been told to shut up. Here's what I mean. Here's Kamala Harris walking on the plane yesterday, right? Comrade Kamala is in the middle of this huge crisis. She is the vice president while portions of the country have drowned. Hundreds of people are missing. Over 100 are dead. There are communities wiped out in critical states for our country, for our national identity. You think she'd have something to say about it? She gave some scripted over at FEMA office. She read off a paper and walked away. Here she is answering questions. No, guys, that's the one she answers questions. It's the wrong one. This isn't the way. It's the way. Listen, you can't really work without a good staff. My staff is clearly incompetent. I just said to you the one. Now, Justin's informing me that, this is, okay, Justin's saying this is definitely the one you said. I'm sorry, folks.
So all this stuff is happening right now. And not only that, she don't even answer any questions. She did a press conference, no questions. 4-minute press conference for this whole hurricane issue, no questions. And then now they're trying to get questions she don't answer. She just walks away.
She didn't answer, right? She waved. She should have just given everyone the middle finger like Tim Walz did in Michigan. There she is up on the plane, got the glasses on. Don't bother asking me about the hundreds of people missing in the entire... There she is again. One more time. You sure on this? This is the 5th time on loop. Maybe wait. Let it go, woman. The next time she'll answer the question. This is just... these are all different. These are all different. This is not actually a loop. This is the one from yesterday. Here we go. She's still... Okay, she's still flipping everyone off giving you essentially the middle finger, walking up onto Air Force Two. There you go. She had the opportunity to show some leadership.
Yes.
Again, we were told by the left-wing media after Katrina that optics mattered, correct? That George W. Bush was Satan, was like the devil, had 666 in his scalp, and his middle name was Damien. Because George W. Bush, despite what the Democrat governor and mayor of New Orleans didn't do to help their own citizens, that George W. Bush, well, I'm no Bush guy either, but George W. Bush, I think you know that, was the only one responsible. And the optics were bad. He flew over and he looked down. She didn't even fly over. She got on a plane and pretended to. Here's Kamala. Hello? Hello? Just pretend you're talking to her. Oh, Governor, it's so good to talk to you. What's going on down there? Well, we have hundreds of people missing. We have hundreds. There's been a massive flood down here. There's a huge crisis. Towns have been wiped out. That's you talking, Kamala. That's not the governor. Just pretend. Kamala, we took the picture. Hold on. Did you plug the thing? Wait, Kamala, that may be an iPhone. It's just the wrong plug. This is Kamala Harris. This is who she is. She doesn't even have the freaking thing plugged in. Hello, Governor. Hello. There it is.
Look at
There's
this.
the picture right there. Ladies and gentlemen, here, I'm talking to Kamala Harris just like she's talking.
Y'all look at this thing. Thank you so much, Peter Scroggins, for the super chat. Hey, that's his first one. Let's go. Everybody show Peter some love in the chat. He said, hey, man, all I want to say is Kamala is a fraud, so we're the Democrats, and they will do anything they want. They're just mad that Trump's going to win. I agree, 100%. Look at this picture. She has this cord in. It's not even plugged into the phone. There's nothing on the paper. It's all a photo op.
Hey, Madam Vice President, do you think it would be a good idea as the second most powerful executive in the country to maybe do a little bit more than fake a phone call and write on an empty... Here's the writing. You want to do this? Again, she's writing on an empty piece of paper. Here, let me do Kamala Harris. I'm going to take some notes, folks. Here we go. Here. The things aren't even plugged in. Want to see my notes? Here you go. It says notes. There's my notes. I thought about it, believe me. That's Kamala Harris. There you go. There's your vice president, folks.
Golly.
That's right. That's what you do at 4:30.
It's a joke.
Go home. You're right. That's Kamala Harris. We were told optics matter. Plug the freaking headphones in next time, Madam Vice President, and maybe stop and answer a question and stop pretending you're talking to people on the phone. It's why also she won't give a freaking answer about anything and answers every question she's asked with the, I was raised in a middle-class family. She was not raised in a middle-class family, folks. The woman is incompetent. She can't answer a damn question ever. She appears on a podcast yesterday. You know why? Because Trump is kicking her butt on live streaming. 100%. And most of the kids right now, note to cable news companies like CNN, most young men and women, basically anyone from 25 or younger, they're not watching cable news, folks. They're watching streaming. So Kamala Harris decided to go on a podcast yesterday, and she's like, hey, man, listen, I'm going to start reaching out. I'm going to take the Donald Trump approach. I want you to listen to the answer yet again to the question about what she's going to do about the economy. The instructions went out. And falsely tell people you lived in a middle-class family, a middle-class neighborhood. You lived in a foo-foo area. Check this out.
Show to a whole entire company. What is your economic plan moving forward for people who are living paycheck to paycheck and struggling for groceries and rent and homeowners?
So, look, I grew up, so my sister and I were raised by our mother. We lived for a long time in an apartment on top of a child care center.
It's all fake.
She can't answer a question. She can't answer a question. I'm going to play one more, and I'm going to take a break for you. I'm going to show you a little piece of video from CNN. I'm telling you, this is the debate strategy tonight. You don't have to listen to me. I always bring the receipts. Here's CNN saying what I'm telling you, that Walz has been told, don't no matter what. whatever you're asked, refract the light and move in a different direction. This is their entire strategy from this point out. Check this out.
Even last week, I was in New York at a fundraiser that Tim Walz was doing at an apartment there, and he said, after I left the room, I heard he said to someone who asked, how's debate prep going? He said, look, I was trained as a teacher. As a teacher, we're trained to answer the questions. We tell our students to answer the questions. That's not what this is. So Walz really trying to fit himself into
serious?
this somewhat awkward always thing of a nationally televised
You can't
debate.
make this crap up.
He's not going to say anything. I would expect every single answer to be a misdirection from the question posed.
Yeah.
And CBS, I promise, will cover for them. And they will fact check tonight, which means they're going to lie, and J.D. Vance will wind up debating 3 people. Folks, they are really priding themselves on ignoring you. They don't care. I've got more receipts coming up. Mayorkas is asked about this crisis going on with this major flood and people being wiped out. If this answer doesn't infuriate you, I'm sorry you're not paying attention. And the dumbest cabinet member we've seen in modern U.S. history, who's a surrogate for Harris, who is another absolute know-nothing, Gina Raimondo, with, again, one of the dumbest answers you've heard all year. But I'm going to remind you again before the break, the port strike, the hurricane, Verizon, the outage yesterday. Make sure you're voting early. Execute.
Yes, 100%. This is the thing. Right now, it's getting worse. Like, a lot of them are trying to say, oh, things are getting better. The border's more secure. We're doing this, we're doing that. People can tell it's getting worse. Their leadership is getting worse. You can see right here, this is from Interactive Polls. Trump is now plus 2.9% for Pennsylvania. This is huge. Usually he's losing, in the swing states, and now he's winning. And we also know that there's also the silent minority that vote for Trump. And this is, again, too, us moving into what? The next step of who's going to be president, but you know that something's going to happen, like what's happened with Israel and Iran, to deter people from seeing that Biden and Harris don't have any leadership. Check this out, the new updated details of what's going on at the border.
It's good to see you again. I'm wondering if this feels like, to some extent, here we go again. The media is calling this a really tight race. A 4-point lead is a lead that I would much rather have in a race like this. You won your seat for the first time back in 2012. You won it by 17 points. So things are getting tighter in Texas. What's going on down there?
Look, there's no doubt Texas is a battleground today. Chuck Schumer has been explicit. I'm his #1 target in the country, and the Democrats are spending over $100 million. Chuck Schumer and George Soros are flooding cash.
Do y'all hear that? That's how bad they want to win Texas and flip it from red to blue. They're willing to spend over $100 million on a Senate race. We're not talking to the presidency.
Into the state of Texas. There have been multiple polls in the last 3 weeks that show it as a 4-point race, a 3-point race, a 2-point race, and there have been 2 polls that show it as a 1-point race. They are coming after me with everything they got. My opponent, who is an extreme left-wing Democrat, is a congressman named Colin Allred. He's voted with Nancy Pelosi 100% of the time his first 4 years in Congress. He's voted for open borders and higher taxes and defunding the police. And yet he's been on TV for 3 months straight with relentless attack ads. I just went on TV a couple of weeks ago. And so I want to encourage your viewers this morning. I need your help. Please go to tedcruz.org, tedcruz.org, and contribute, because we are getting swamped by Chuck Schumer and George Soros. Wow. And as I said, they have put a bullseye on the state of Texas. They know if they flip Texas,
yes,
if they take me out, they take the entire country. They keep the Senate Democrat. So I need your help. Please go to tedcruz.org.
Yeah, a Democrat hasn't won statewide in Texas since 1994, I think. I guess the difference between Beto O'Rourke and Colin Allred, Allred's beaten a big-name Republican before. He beat Pete Sessions, I think, back in 2018, knocked Sessions out of Congress after 22 years. Beto lost the governor's race. He's not president. He lost to you. Does that change anything for you, running against someone who's actually beat a prominent Republican before?
Well, look, Colin Allred is running the exact same campaign Kamala Harris is.
Yes,
they're both
they are.
hiding in Joe Biden's basement. Neither one of them does events. They don't do media interviews. They do almost no press conferences. In the last 8 weeks, Colin Allred has done 1 press conference. In the same time period, I've done 20 press conferences. Now, there's a reason. Both Kamala Harris and Colin Allred are desperately running away from their record. Let me give you an example. Colin Allred over and over and over again has voted for open borders. He says, if you think border security is important, Colin Allred says you are a racist. He calls the border wall, quote, that racist border wall. He has pledged to personally tear down, quote, that racist border wall. Right now, he's running millions of dollars of TV ads with him standing in front of the thing he calls that racist border wall.
Yeah.
It's a design. They want millions of dollars to pretend their record is different than what they are. I'm proud of my record. I've spent 12 years fighting to secure the border. I worked hand in hand with Donald Trump, and we achieved the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. Rob, we did it before. We'll do it again.
Yeah, are you concerned
That is
illegals
huge.
are going to...
I'm telling you what, like, what's going on with the border, trying to make sure that it's secure. Like, literally, I give kudos to Texas, and I feel like other states should be trying to help them out in terms of funds to do all that they're doing to protect the southern border and make sure that America stays safe, because that's huge. Right now, the federal government literally sent forklifts down there to raise up the wire, the razor wire that the Texas state put there so that you can see illegals go in. Like, if that doesn't tell you anything about this administration, I don't know what does. Just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button and clicking the thumbs up like button. We appreciate you so much. Mr. Tracy J. Norby with the super chat, all of our new members. Guys, we're going to move on. We've got the debate coming up. I'm about to switch over to that stream, that other video. So please join me over there. I'm going to turn it on so that we can stream the J.D. Vance versus Tim Walz debate, and we can all commune there and then see how it goes. Love you all. Thank you all, and see you in just a moment.